Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Curran from the Technological University Dublin, and I am a co-author on this paper with Mr. Alex Campbell, Dr. John Spillane, and Dr. Jim Bradley from the University of Limerick. The title of the paper is Inventory Management on Irish Construction Projects, Current Issues on Site, and Strategies to Control and Eliminate Waste. The construction industry is renowned as being fragmented and complex, and a construction project can face an array of problems throughout its life cycle, resulting in extensive cost and time overruns. The subject of poor cost performance has been widely published in construction management literature. A critical aspect and contributor to this problem is poor inventory management, along with the insufficient management and control of materials on site. The term inventory refers to the goods or materials used by a company for production or sale, and in a construction project, nearly 60% of the total costs is allocated for the inventory and materials. Inventory and materials management are very much interlinked, as they embrace all activities concerned with designing or manufacturing the product. It has been highlighted that there is a need for a proper inventory management system on construction projects for materials without employing additional costs. Several factors can affect inventory management in a construction project, and common challenges in practice include inconsistent tracking, manual documentation, lack of expertise, poor communication, and inadequate storage space. On the other hand, many techniques and strategies have been identified, including always better control, just in time, and information and communications technologies such as radio frequency identification and building information modeling. The literature fails to acknowledge and highlight the issue of inventory and materials management, particularly within an Irish context, while most industry reports and studies appear vague in comparison. However, studies have been undertaken elsewhere, including Malaysia, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Sweden, amongst others. Therefore, it is necessary to identify and evaluate inventory management controls, coupled with materials and waste issues, if any, along with appropriate strategies to manage inventory on Irish construction sites. The study aims to identify inventory and waste issues, if any, and document counteractive strategies to eliminate waste and improve the materials management process on site. The research encompasses qualitative analysis, and on completion of an informative literature review, the method consists of case study analysis, including 5 exploratory individual interviews with a variety of construction professionals based on projects located throughout the Leinster region of Ireland. Following the interviews, they are analysed using thematic analysis, which leads on to the discussion of findings and the conclusion and recommendations. Further information can be found in the main paper. The individual interviews commenced by gaining general background information from each participant, followed by an extensive discussion on inventory management and waste controls on the respective project. This included highlighting any issues, if any, with inventory on site and identifying possible counteractive response strategies and techniques where necessary. Findings from the 5 interviews were combined and qualitatively assessed and summarised using thematic analysis, where emerging themes were established from the transcripts, including key words and topics for discussion. 10 key issues are identified, and the most common are no storage and materials manager on site, a lack of space on site to store all the materials, labour training issues due to large staff turnover, and poor communication among staff due to language barriers. Following the identification and discussion of these interviews, attention turned to the potential counteractive strategies that could be used to mitigate the inventory management issues identified. Similarly, 10 strategies are identified, and the most common are the need for a storage manager on site, a designated storage area for materials and equipment, hosting regular toolbox talks for staff, and improving the language barrier amongst foreign national employees to aid site efficiency. Material storage on site was one of the most prominent issues to emerge from the interviews, and the literature supports that unsuitable storage locations on site are an issue in poor labour productivity. Also, The mismanagement of material storage is a leading factor in spatial congestion on construction projects. Two strategies identified by all of the interviewees were to have a designated storage area on site and introduce just-in-time inventory. Another theme identified was labour training issues as a result of large staff turnover, along with a lack of site inductions to new staff on site. The seasonal nature of the construction sector necessitates the use of casual workers, and casual workers have always been and will continue to be an essential and accepted component of the construction industry workforce. Also, fluctuating demand for labour and pressure on costs means that the construction sector has come to rely on a high degree of flexibility from its workforce, with jobs often lasting just a few days or weeks. Strategies identified included incentive schemes for staff on site to improve inventory practices, mandatory inductions for all staff members, and hosting regular toolbox talks with staff regarding inventory management. Poor communication due to language barriers was another issue identified by the interviewees, and this is a common issue facing the industry due to the foreign labour on site. Using toolbox talks was an appropriate strategy identified, and technology such as translation devices to overcome the language barrier is also effective. One interesting strategy identified was a common sense approach towards inventory. One of the interviewees noted that his knowledge on inventory management was years in the making, and he learnt on the job from project to project. The literature supports that most project managers still make decisions just based on their experience. The management of material storage on site is based on intuition and experience gained through knowledge obtained in the industry. To conclude, the key contribution of this research illustrates that there are many issues regarding inventory management, and there are also many strategies to control and eliminate waste. The findings provide the project management team the opportunity to foresee potential issues before they actually occur, and it encourages them to implement and have a strategic inventory management plan in place. Overall, this study provides a foundation to advance and expand further, supporting continuous research into inventory management and waste control measures in the construction industry in Ireland. Thank you for listening.